Welcome back once more to another reading. Today, theoretically, is a day of rest. And for some people, it's a day of rest. For some people, it's not. But whatever kind of day it is, I wish you all the very, very best. Another reading from, guess where? Science of Mind Daily Guides from Science of Mind magazine, courtesy of Creative Life Spiritual Center, Spring, Texas. Here we go. Today's reading is, well, let's just get on with it, and then I'll make some comments afterwards. It's called Spontaneously Natural. The first quote is from Howard Thurman, who was a giant of a figure in the 20th century in the religious arena. He said, "I determined to live the outer life in the inner sanctuary. I determined to live the outer life in the inner sanctuary." More about that shortly. This is Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind magazine, July 1996. This, of course, is taken posthumously because he passed away in 1960. "My mind is the mind of God, functioning at the level of my perception of life. Therefore," let me get my screen back. "Therefore, to me, my mind must be as God. It is the only thing that could interpret, understand, accept, or reject us." All right, there's got to be a way here. "Because of this, thought is creative. I believe each one of us, in turning to the great inner life, is turning to God. And yet an individual is never God. Whoever penetrates this inner life will find it to be birthless, deathless, fearless, eternal, happy, perfect, and complete. Gradually, it becomes clear that God, or the infinite, is flowing into everything. As individuals, we must re-educate our minds. Realize we have, as an ally, a presence, capital P, and a law in which the past, the present, and the future, and all people whom we call living and dead, live and move and have their being forever unfolding." As I said, that was from the Science of Mind magazine, July 1996. And I can assure you one thing, Reverend Jesse has a copy of every month of the Science of Mind magazine going back to, I don't know when, but hundreds of them, thousands probably. Anyway, this is what Reverend Jesse himself has to say. The, quote, "great inner life," unquote, refers to the realm of consciousness which takes in both personal cognitive awareness and the vast undiscovered country of the subconscious. In other words, our conscious minds and our subconscious minds. At the subjective level, that is the subconscious level, enveloping all mind and matter, we can locate the origin of the energetic flow of substance into form, images into ideas, and preferences into plans. He says, but we can never completely understand this creative process, let alone reduce it to just an extension of our will. No individual is ever completely, personally God, and is instead the experience God or the divine is having in and through their lives in time and space. Okay. Howard Thurman, I determined to live the outer life in the inner sanctuary. In other words, you could put it another way and say, my thoughts create my reality, and it is done unto you as you believe. So in other words, there is wonderful power at the subconscious level. And when we use that power at the subconscious level through spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, then we are ourselves participating in what is being experienced in the outer world. Lots and lots of people have done this, lots and lots of people do it. But the thing is, we're all always doing it. And that's the great thing. We're all always doing this. It's just that sometimes we're doing it at the subconscious level and not the conscious level. And that's why we talked oftentimes about living in awareness, because when you live in awareness, you're aware of what your thoughts are. And when you're aware of what your thoughts are, what's going on at a conscious and subconscious level, then you can do something about it. You can change it, and you can switch something that is not constructive into something that is constructive, something that's not positive into something that is positive. So really, that's what they're saying here. They're saying, when we say that sometimes you are God, we're not saying that you are the whole of God. We're simply saying that you are an expression of the divine, and that there is a presence of the divine within you. And you are a finite human being at this level, but the divine is infinite. So a human being can never be infinite, because that describes whatever term you want to use: God, the divine, the all, spirit, ground of all being. So we're expressions of that one source, but we can never be that whole source. So if somebody sincerely and with the correct belief system says you are God, they're simply saying that you are an expression of the one. You're an expression of the divine, and that the power of the divine is flowing through you up to the amount that you can conceive. And as a human being on this plane of existence, there's a limit to what you can conceive. Some people would say there's no limit to what you can conceive. Well, in a sense, that's true, but in another sense, it's not true, because you can never conceive of the infinite. You have an idea what it might mean, that it's without beginning, without end, and it's everywhere, and it's at the same time it's nowhere. But you can never be that whole thing. And Wayne Dyer had a great saying, and like a lot of things, you never know when famous people come out with sayings. You don't know if they're the ones who invented that saying, or they're the ones who just got it from somebody else. And you often never know where these things, begin and end. And he said, God is no thing, but God is not nothing. God is no thing, but God is not nothing. So in other words, God is everything. So another way to look at it. Hope you had a chance to look at our service this morning. If you didn't, it was recorded. If it isn't already on YouTube, it will be shortly. It is on Facebook Live, because it's recorded directly to Facebook Live. If you want the uncensored version, i.e. if you want to listen to the music and everything, go to the Facebook version. If you want to do the full version, go to that. I know the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. I know the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. That's your affirmation. Reverend Weiss will be on tomorrow morning at 9. I will be back tomorrow at 5. Namaste.